All right, so today we're going to be talking about how is it that they start to fantasize about you once they're falling in love with you, okay? Because there's a huge difference between how people fantasize about you when they're not in love versus where they fall in love. And usually you start to see their fantasies come to real life, okay? So essentially, how their behavior is pretty much an indication of how they're thinking about you, of how they're fantasizing about you. And initially you start to notice that the fantasies when people are not in love with you usually are more physical. It's more so about impressing you, showing you different parts of their personality, and idealizing you. And not it's not pretty. It's not based on reality because they don't know you, so they start to fill in the blanks. Okay, but things change once they start to get to know. Once they start to get to know you, and usually the first one is with the physical touch. The way they start to fantasize about you, there's a certain warm electricity that they tend to feel when they start to imagine you touching them, right? Because initially, when they're falling in love, there's a gravitational force that people have in their minds about you. In other words, their minds become obsessed with touching you, right? And not just touching you, and not just like touching you in general with like a dopamine release, but touching you with a oxytocin type. In other words, when they imagine touching you in their minds, it's not a sexual contact. It's more of a physical type of thing, like a familiarity, like a warmth, like a release of tension when they think about that. And what you'll notice if it happens to you is that there's a warm feeling at their touch, right? They touch you in their minds, and that could be touching their lips, touching their face, whatever, touching their hands. The point is that there's a literal release of oxytocin in your brain that will cause you to feel comfortable. Like it's almost like being inside of your bed when everything's cold outside. You're cuddled up in your blanket and stuff like that. And so that sensation creates a longing, right? A desire to be around them, a desire to physically touch them, right? So it's not just a sexual thing. It's more of like a physical desire to be close to them. And you'll notice it in their actions because when they're around you, they want to be around you. They want to just chill around you. They want to just be physically close to you. The reason why they have that desire is because they've been fantasizing about it. So that's one thing. The next thing is, like I always tell in this channel, is that people would just start to have that eye contact where they see you in their minds, and they're not just seeing you, they're making eye contact. And this is with every single person. Unless you're blind and you don't know what eyes are, you're gonna fantasize about them looking at you and making eye contact. And it's not just about you making eye contact, but that there's emotion behind the eye contact. In other words, you're gonna feel the warm, fuzzy feeling in your chest whenever you think about making eye contact with them. And the reason why that is because your brain wants to connect with them, right? Your brain loves them, and so you want to make eye contact. When there's no love, you'll notice that there's no eye contact. Pretty much consistently, across all like fantasies. Why? Because when you don't love someone, you don't want to look at them, and you don't want them to look at you. Fuck. So you'll notice is that even babies do this. When a baby is not happy with you, a baby will literally look away in disappointment or disgust, right? And we usually do the same thing. When we don't like someone, we don't look at them. Like and so all of these people out there that say I'm in love with someone but I don't fantasize about them, okay, whatever. You could comment that, but essentially this is pretty much universal across all people. The next one is that your thoughts become future oriented. Okay. Usually when you're not in love with someone, you usually start thinking about. Obviously, you start thinking about them, but it's not this type of thinking. You're on vacation with them, right? You're in a exotic area. You're somewhere far that requires you to be with them for a long time, right? When you don't love them, you're not gonna think about that. It's usually short meetups, or even honestly, you're not even gonna think of this. To be honest with you, you're not even gonna think about fantasizing long term. But when you're in the process of falling in love, in other words, when you think that this person has potential, it's almost like you'll start to think about them in a future scenario, even though you're not in love with them. But usually, if you're gonna fall in love with them, and you're gonna have these types of like future scenarios. It doesn't mean there's gonna be that oxytocin release like when you are falling in love, but that it's almost like you're flirting with the idea. And the more you fall in love, the more you'll notice that you have more future projections with them, and you'll start to imagine with them being in nice places that you want to be with them and have those shared experiences, right? Now, the next thing is that you'll start to imagine them doing slow paced things with them. Slow paced. In other words, you're not just imagining doing things with them, right? You can imagine slow pace, watching TV, watching this, doing that, having a walk, going to the bodega, simple shit. Simple shit that's like animated and exaggerated by your brain, and you imagine doing the simple things with them, and it feels amazing in your mind. That's a sign that you're falling in love with them. Because whenever you fantasize about someone who you're not in love with, you fantasize things, don't get me wrong, but it's usually sexually charged, right? But once that tamps down, what you'll notice is that the fantasy is slow paced type of thing. Not that much dopamine driven, but more oxytocin driven by the person. And you'll notice is that those fantasies have a certain movie highlight reel type of quality to them, right? It feels good. It's a slowness to it that is pleasurable to the person. Now the next one is the fantasies have less intense colors, right? When you now this is just because I'm a weirdo, but if you actually observe your fantasies when you love someone, they have a haziness to them, like a hazy filter. It's the colors are not the colors are intense, but it's almost like you're looking through a cloud, if that makes any sense, right? It's like you're looking through a cloud or you're looking through a foggy day, but the difference between this foggy day is that the colors are intense, but it has like a filter of fogginess. And so what it creates, that it creates a quality where there's no sharp lines. It's more fuzzy line, like sfumatu type of fuzzy lines. And there's not a lot of contrast. There is intense colors, but not a lot of contrast. But when you're thinking of a sexual fantasy, you'll notice that the colors are more intense. And there's a sharpness to lines and just a more vividness. And so your body reacts to that with more arousal. But this is more of like an anime. Like if you see an anime, you'll notice when the hero is recollecting the times with the person that they want to be with, you'll notice that their fantasies tend to have a fuzzy haziness to it, and that's an indication of love, in my opinion. And it's funny that the animes get this right, and because you tend to see this a lot. Like next time you're in love, just notice how the qualities of your fantasies, and this tends to create a desire to connect with them, if that makes any sense, right? And honestly, I don't know if this is true, but it could possibly be true even with the family members. When we think of them, we don't think of them with intense colors and intense contrast, right? And I'm not saying that the colors are less intense when you're in love. I'm just saying that it's more fuzzy, if that makes any sense. And these things, you'll notice that if the person is fantasizing about you in this way, you'll see it in their actions, right? They'll want to do more slow things with you, right? They'll want to do simple things with you because they're fantasizing it. They'll plan future dates and they'll follow through on them. They'll want to make eye contact prolonged, and they'll want to have a physical touch that's not sexually oriented. And you'll notice it because they're fantasizing about it because they're doing it in person. They'll think about impressing you. And it's funny because usually when you're not in love with someone, that's when people start to give you more gifts, start to do more romantic things. But it's funny because one of the things that they do is that when you first get to know the person is that you're thinking about impressing them. So you'll notice that thought becomes an action eventually, right? Anyway, so these are how people think of you when they're falling in love with you, how they fantasize about you when they're falling in love. If you guys ever want to work with me one-on-one, and you have a situation, you guys want to get my opinion on it, if you want to improve the situation that you're with, somebody that you're dating and you want to make them fall in love, just hit me up, people. All right, you can purchase a one-on-one session or just scan the QR code that you see right here. Okay, anyways, take care. The Mindful Attraction University, taught by Professor Alex, where I teach you all of the strategies to improve your dating life and all of the courses that I have all in one place. And you can get it at a highly discounted rate. So that means you can purchase all of my basic courses without the bundles, usually at $600. You can purchase it now at $399, people. Not $400, $399 for psychological purposes. Yeah, that's right. Oh my fucking God, he's showing us a scam. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Father Alex does that. So that means you could get emotional mastery, the psychological game of attraction, the feminine and woman, natural chemistry, charisma blueprint, and nice girl at a discounted rate. But then, if you want to get the master's degree of the Mindful Attraction University taught by Professor Alex, you can get the premium version, where usually all of the courses cost $1,200. Now you can purchase them all at $799 or 4 payments of $200. You guys can now also do like a payment plan. Feminine Woman, Emotional Mastery, the whole shebang bang with all of the bonuses at one lower price, people. And with that, honestly, this is the type of thing that I know that if you guys get, it'll fix your dating life in ways you guys cannot imagine. Now, my worry is that it is a lot of content. Like it is, and I'm not a fan of giving people a lot of content because I don't want informational junkies. But this is the best way to get it all at all in one price. Now, look, mind you, if you purchase the bundle, I'm just gonna be honest, there's no refunds. Purchasing the whole bundles. If you guys think you guys are not gonna like it, I will prefer if you guys buy one course to see if you like it, and if you don't like that course, you could get your money back and don't purchase the bundle, right? But if you like that course, you guys can send me an email and say, hey, can I upgrade to the bundle? Pay the difference, and there you guys will get it. But it's just that, look, man, you guys know my content. If you like one course, you like it all, right? So that's the only caveat. But I know damn well, if you purchase it, your dating life will never be the same. Okay. Now, for those who purchase the courses but want to add to the bundle, you guys can message me and maybe we could come up with a price so that you guys can get it while being able to not have to pay all the crazy prices. Okay. So just click on the description down below. There you'll see the ability to purchase the wifey basic package, which is the one that you see here for $399 without the bundles and without the bonuses. But if you guys want to purchase it with the bonuses, which is a lot of content, and I'm afraid because it's a lot of content, you guys can purchase it right here with either 4 payments of $200 or one-time payment of $799, right? And yeah, and by the way, I made this design, Father Alex is being inclusive here and stuff like that. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoy this. Hopefully you guys can support the channel by purchasing those courses, and I'll see you guys inside. Bye-bye.